We're here in the Liffey Mill stand and we're going to have a chat with Pat Ryan. Pat, how's it going?
Well, so we're hanging in. We're back anyway, at least, and we didn't suffer too much damage yesterday anyway, so we're up and running. We're good for another 2 days, hopefully.
Pat, it's been a difficult year for Irish farmers, to say the least. You know, at Christmas we had 2 or 3 foot of snow on the ground and then we went straight into a drought. When did you see the real pinch point coming on farmers?
Well, it started really at the ploughing really last year. You had the Wednesday, which was a washout. Cattle were probably housed at least a month early. Then you had long wet winter, then you had the snow in 5th or 6th of March, and you had a serious pinch on feed from that until probably the 5th or 6th of May. We got about 6 weeks normal growth, and then it really bit with the drought from early July onwards, and that has continued in certain areas up to about 2 weeks ago. Here in the Midlands it's been particularly bad.
Yeah. And I suppose we've seen farmers moving towards alternative feeds. What advice would you have for a farmer that has identified a fodder shortage when it comes to feed and meal? Yeah.
Well, just talking to farmers coming in here, I would say there is on average probably a 30% shortage of fodder. Guys are going to have to move in and try and fill that gap really before Christmas with dry cows, or even if they're feeding dry stock such as sucklers, by putting in 3 kilos of feed. I'm not trying to sell feed here now, but they're going to have to try and remedy the situation before Christmas. Put in 3 kilos of feed. It'll save probably 1.6 or 1.7 tonnes of silage per cow over the winter. We've done up ready reckoners here and on farmers that they'll be able to assess their situation. I think it's very important that somebody faces, rather than hoping that it's going to be good weather or the cows won't go until the 1st of December. It's better to face that situation now, budget at least for a 4-month winter, and see what you have to do to fill the gap. Now, there are lots of problems there. There's debt there probably on farms, merchant debt, etc., leading up to this, but I mean, we're better to be real about the situation, face the problem, and see what measures can be taken to try and sort that out.
I suppose with the harvest in Ireland especially, you know, yields were back a little bit, quality in some areas were probably a little back. How has that affected you?
I'd say quality's been good in general. Yields, definitely, I mean, the intake is substantially down. We're having to use alternatives such as maize, which is very competitive, say, compared to barley or wheat, and other raw materials to try and fill the gap. Fibres are particularly expensive. The beet pulps, the hulls, the citrus, they're extremely expensive and probably likely to remain so for the rest of the season.
And you mentioned there that maize is kind of readily available. Will we see more of that now coming on stream?
Well, there's a lot of maize being used anyway, and there's good harvest in the States, and it is particularly competitive compared to barley or wheat, and it probably will cause a kind of a rationing on barley in that people will switch to maize as a raw material of choice. It'll be number 1 on the list of ingredients probably in a lot of feeds, which wouldn't have been the case heretofore.
Thanks very much, Pat.